Friends, it's very hot. I'm making this video in a flat that is 29 degrees and very kind of stuffy. There's no air. It's 33 degrees outside. So I thought this was a perfect time to make my 2025 summer perfume list. And I can promise you that there are no actual gourmands in this, because I've seen a lot of summer gourmand videos, and I have to say I can't think of anything worse than wearing gourmands at this time of year. I don't like, I don't mind sweet perfumes, but I can't do hardcore gourmands. It's just too much for me. I do have, though, a couple of sweet things in here that are going to satisfy people with a sweet tooth, but I hope that there's enough of a kind of summery twist that's going to make it work in hot weather. I would say I've got a real mixture going on here, so hopefully I've got something for everyone. And I've got quite a lot of pairs from like houses that I just think are quite good. But I'm going to start with one that's just a classic. I think this is like a classic European summer scent that people wear when it's really hot, and it's kind of magical. I apologise if there's lots of fan noises, because I do have a fan going because it's too hot to not. Let's spray this out and then I'm going to talk about it. So this is Chance and Eau. This is the original Chance and Eau, the green Chance and Eau from Coty. This is so hardcore green when you first spray this perfume that it really actually smells like grass to me, like kind of bitter, extremely green grass. And it's also quite citrusy. It has this feel of being out and about in a green grassy field, but wearing like maybe a citrusy perfume, and there's flowers as well. So Fragrantica and a few other people, everyone has like a slightly different set of notes for this, but I'm going to read the ones from Parfumo because this feels right to me. I think this is actually quite a complex scent with a lot of notes. So in the top there's bergamot, hyacinth, lemon, orange and lavender. The heart notes are jasmine, pineapple, lily of the valley, mango and ylang ylang. Base of musk, iris, sandalwood and bamboo. Now, I just always said, in fact, when I first got this and I first reviewed it on my channel, it's one of the earliest things I talked about, I think, one of my first ever videos, before I'd kind of worked out that I should do them landscape rather than portrait on my phone. So I think this smells like almost like a lime sorbet sprinkled in grass when you first spray it. It's very citrusy, and although there's no lime in here, there's something about the combination of the lemon, bergamot and orange, maybe even with like the pineapple and some of the other interesting notes here like bamboo. It just smells like lime for some reason. Now the more it dries down, you get a hint of musk, you get a little bit of a more tropical fruity smell, but not, I wouldn't say it smells like pineapple and mango specifically, but there's definitely a juicy fruitiness that's quite sweet when it dries down, and then you get a general floral bouquet. I feel like the lavender is also lending to that kind of grassy, green, herbaceous feel when you first spray it, but yeah, it's a light aromatic, it's citrusy, it's bright, it's light. It's got a huge sprayer on it. These are eau de toilettes, but they kind of feel like body sprays, the way that they spray. I also have Mar Azul, which I love. That one is kind of an apricot-y, slightly more fruity perfume, but I think this is great. I really like this one. It's just so good for hot weather. The other thing I really love in hot weather is to smell like fresh laundry. I know some people don't like a laundry scent, but I feel like when it's so hot that you almost can't imagine putting perfume on. I know a lot of people reach for citruses. I love a bit of citrus when it's super hot, and you'll see a couple in a minute. But I think I also love to reach for laundry scents because then I just feel like I'm wearing freshly laundered clothes, and I don't really feel like I'm wearing too much of a perfume, but I know I still smell good. So this is a really, really good option. This is Clean Classic, the original. So this isn't actually literally, I don't think, the original version of the very first Clean perfume. I think that this is their new version of it. I think the old version was citrusy, whereas this one is kind of aldehydic. It's a little bit bright, bubbly. It really, really smells like laundry fresh out of the washing machine to me. It doesn't smell so dry that it smells like it's been tumble dried or anything. This still has like a slightly cooling feel to me, even though it's quite sweet. So the notes are aldehydes, peony, aromatic notes in the top, mid notes geranium, jasmine and pepper, base notes orange blossom, musk and sandalwood. But I'd say I wouldn't sniff this and be like, oh, this smells like peony or this smells like orange blossom, or, you know, even that I wouldn't necessarily smell it and be like, ooh, aldehydes, the way you would in like a vintage perfume. It's just very clean, very pretty, really easy to wear, surprisingly strong and long lasting. I just really, really like the laundry clean perfumes. I've got a few, I think they're beautiful, but this is a really safe bet if you just want to smell clean and fresh and like you've just taken all your clothes out of the laundry. So next up we do have a pair of perfumes. This one I'm going to put with its box because it's just a rollerball, so it makes it easier to see if I put this up. So this is Cororez and this is Kima. So as you can see, it's just a rollerball here. And then also Augustus, which I have a full bottle of. Now the only reason I don't have a full bottle of Kima is because it smells very similar to one of my absolute favourite high heat summer perfumes, and that is Calvin Klein CK2. So CK2, that's a perfume that is a petrichor perfume. It's got like a pebble note in it, a wasabi note, there's some rose in there. It smells like cold rain on hot pebbles. It's just got this amazing, clean, watery, aquatic feel without smelling like the sea. And I just love that about it. And this is almost the same scent, but more citrusy. And it's, again, it's got this kind of clean, watery smell. There's just something about this that smells so similar to CK2. Now, CK2 is discontinued. If you want to buy it secondhand, it's insanely expensive. So I found a couple of things that smelt like it, and this is probably my favourite one. So, I mean, just to throw in, I've mentioned it before, but Heal Your Mind from the Mugler cologne, it also dries down to smell very similar, but that one starts off smelling more like a classic kind of lavendery kind of cologne scent. This one never goes into that stage. It's more citrusy. It's really beautiful. So Kima has mandarin orange, lime and orange in the top. Then in the mid, it has watery notes, sea notes and pepper. Base notes and nutmeg, cedar and vetiver. Now, I don't really smell this and think of those notes outside of a little bit of citrus and some watery notes. And I think because it smells so similar to CK2 to me, underneath the citruses, although this has got a tiny bit of a saltiness to it, but not a huge amount. Fresh water, I almost think it smells like there's a little tiny bit of rose or something in here. There is something about it that smells kind of stony, in it, like almost rocky. I just think this is really beautiful, and yeah, like I said, it's just a great alternative to CK2, and it's just a perfect kind of summer perfume. It's not too sweet, it's not too sour, it's just kind of clean and fresh smelling. And then Augustus actually smells like a summer holiday to me. Essentially, it's a fig perfume. If you know what Philosophus smells like from Diptyque, this opens in quite a similar way to that, but then it dries down and you get a little bit more of this kind of orange blossomy, creamy feel, musky orange blossom. I'm not a massive fan of orange blossom, although you will see a couple in this. But this is green and beautiful in the top. It's really got a natural smelling fig. It's got bergamot, lavender and mandarin in the top. I'm a sucker for lavender, I have to say. But I don't think you'd smell this and be like, oh, there's so much lavender. It's so well blended, this perfume, it's beautiful. So then in the mid, you've got fig, lemon tree and orange blossom. The base, you've got ambergris, cedar and musk. Again, you've got this tiny hint of that slightly salty ambergris. You've definitely got a beautiful musk mixing with that orange blossom. So when I first got this, I did say it kind of opens up like Philosophus. It's green and figgy, ever so slightly earthy. There's this really kind of beautiful, natural sort of aromatherapy scent to it, along with that lovely fig. And then it dries down to kind of morph a little bit towards the Eau d'Essence from Diptyque, which is their beautiful orange blossomy scent. This is somewhere in between, maybe a bit sweeter. It's such an amazing price. It literally smells like you're on holiday in Greece. It's amazing. So I absolutely love these. They're absolutely beautiful. So highly recommend Augustus and Kima from Cororez. Next up, we have a couple of perfumes from my absolute all-time favourite celebrity perfume brand, and that is Sarah Jessica Parker. We have Born Lovely. It's always kind of, I might bring that a bit further forward so you can actually see the writing. Born Lovely is always a tricky one. And then A Lovely Summer, although that might be better, eh? Shall we try that? There we go. So, both very different perfumes, these two, but both amazing. Born Lovely, I would have a much bigger dent in this if it wasn't for the fact that I also have an absolutely massive body spray of this perfume. And in my humble opinion, the body spray is maybe even more beautiful and slightly more feminine than the perfume, just because it has a little bit less of the robust base. But this is a perfume that I think also manages to somehow smell like fresh laundry, but wet, like properly wet. This is so cooling, and it has this aquatic feel to it, despite the fact that it looks like quite a floral perfume when you look at the notes. Oh, it's really amazing. It's one that I take with me when I'm going on holidays, and I absolutely love just spraying this all over myself. I have a rollerball as well, so I've got 3 different size bottles of this one. So this is peony, cassis and mandarin orange in the top. The mid notes are freesia, orange blossom and honeysuckle. The base notes are cedar, patchouli and caramel. Now then, cedar a little bit, definitely. Patchouli only just a hint. I'd say it's mainly got a slightly woody base, and it's got a slight greenness from that patchouli. The caramel doesn't smell like caramel. It just purely makes this a slightly sweet, kind of slightly feminine smelling, what people would describe as a gym scent, which I would just describe as a great freshie. It's peony and it's cassis in the main, and I think there's maybe like a hint of those other florals, maybe a hint of honeysuckle, which might be what I love so much about this. SJP loves honeysuckle. She puts in a lot of perfumes. But it's so fresh, it's so clean. I also absolutely adore this bottle. I think it's beautiful. I took off the little pink bow, I think, that came with it, because I do tend not to like anything like that. But I love the kind of grey glass. I think it's so classy, it's so beautiful, it smells incredible. A perfect freshie. And sometimes it takes a little time to develop on the skin. Some people can't really smell this one very well, or at least maybe they can't at first. My husband couldn't really smell it at first, and then when it developed, he thought it was really nice. So, you know. The other one is her newest Lovely in the Lovely collection, and it's called A Lovely Summer. So this one is probably a little bit tricky to find at the moment, but hopefully people can find it. And this is one of those perfumes that kind of has a similarity to lots of other perfumes. It doesn't smell particularly original, but it is really pretty. It is sheer, but it's quite sweet. So this is a slightly candy flossy smelling fruity orange blossom. Somewhere in the realm of something like Byredo Sundays, that kind of thing. Not exactly the same, but it does have that. It has that sweetness in the base that almost has a candy flossy smell, while it still is very floral and very fruity, very juicy, but it has this lovely sheer quality. It's easy to wear. So in the top, we've got mandarin and orange, neroli, and then we've got mid notes of jasmine, iris and lily of the valley, base notes, musk, cedarwood, amber tonic and skin. So it's got a musky base. It's neroli rather than orange blossom, but it doesn't have quite the bitter greenness I normally get with neroli, so I just think of this as orange blossom. But yeah, I don't know why. There's nothing here listed that should be as candy sweet that there is in the base of this. But there's definitely a candy sweetness in the base without smelling like chewy sweets or anything. It really does have that slight candy floss feel. So I think both of these are amazing depending on your taste. Like, if you prefer a kind of clean girl aesthetic, then Born Lovely is the one. If you are someone who wants something that's sweet, but you don't want a gourmand, or it's like too hot for a sweet vanilla, A Lovely Summer is your girl. So that's Lovely Summer and Born Lovely from Sarah Jessica Parker. We have another pair of absolute beauties here. So we have A la Ombre Diamandier, and we have Vervine Thé Blanc. So These are both from Jeanne On Provence. I really love these bottles. I think they're fabulous. These are like £12 a pop, I think. So if we start with A la Ombre d'Almondier, this is a perfume, again, if you prefer something a bit sweet and a bit creamy, but you still want something that's going to work in high heat and not be overwhelming. This is like the smell of an angel. This perfume is my favourite to spray on first thing in the morning, on a weekend. I mean, you could also easily wear this to bed because it's super soothing and lovely, but because there is a freshness to it, I just really love this in the morning. So this is orange blossom, bergamot, mandarin orange, orange and lemon in the top. So you can see there's a real citrusy opening, but it doesn't come across like a classic citrus. Reason being, the mid notes are almond, milk and praline. I assume that's almond milk, or one note. And then the base, musk, iris and vanilla. So those delicious citruses in the top are what are shearing this out, giving it a kind of slightly watery, angelic quality. It's got this ethereal scent to it. It's musky, it's milky. The almond and orange blossom with that iris is just such a beautiful combination. I love this perfume. And I have the refill for this as well, because you can refill these bottles. You just buy a little metal bottle and you just pour it into here. So I've got a double of this one because it's amazing and it's just such a good price. And then Verveine Thé Blanc. This is a white tea perfume, but it's also very citrusy. This one's just come out. It's only just gone on to Fragrantica. Very happy about that. This doesn't list musk, but there's definitely something musky in here in the base, because it does hang around for a decent amount of time considering it's a real proper freshie. So the notes in Verveine Thé Blanc are citrus, geranium and lemon, and then in the mid it's verbena, tangerine and white tea. In the base, petitgrain, bitter orange and lemon tree. Now there's a lot of green notes here and you do get a real greenness at first, but I think this is a lovely fruity white tea geranium with those lovely green notes just mixed in. It really does smell properly like a fresh green and citrus tea perfume. It really does. And as I said, there's definitely, to me, something a little bit almost sexy in the base of this. There's a musk that smells a little bit like hot skin. I hope that doesn't put anyone off, because I do think there is a very slight funk in the base of this, but it's one that I love because I think it turns what could be quite a plain kind of citrusy tea perfume into something that's a little bit more sexy. So I really like Verveine Thé Blanc. I think it's a beautiful perfume, and again, it's an absolute steal. It's I think the newest in the Jeanne On Provence range, so those are both excellent options. So these next two are both for people who have more of a sweet tooth but still want something that is summer appropriate. So we've got one here called First Snow. These are both by Victorinox. Victorinox, randomly the Swiss Army people, and I got 3 of their perfumes. One of them I passed along, which would, to be fair, also have been amazing, but it smelled like something I already had. But these two remained in my collection and I think they're both really beautiful. So we're going to start with First Snow. Now, some people have described this as a vanilla perfume. However, I do get some vanilla, but I feel like this might be more of a tonka perfume. So this one is genuinely sweet. However, it's also very fresh and it's quite powdery. And I do think this is absolutely nicest in hot weather. I liked it when I got it and it was cold, but I didn't love it. And now I think it's amazing in hot weather. I think it smells so good. So the notes here are top notes of eucalyptus and white tea. The mid notes are vanilla and orange blossom. The base notes are white musk and tonka bean. So as you can see, it's got like a creamy orange blossomy musk. Although I wouldn't say it massively smells like orange blossom. I think that's just adding to this kind of creamy feel. It's got a very powdery sweet tonka bean and a little bit of vanilla. But you never lose that eucalyptus. You have that fresh, bright, kind of slightly mentholated note the whole wear. And I just think that turns this into a really sweet perfume that you can easily wear in hot weather, and the white tea gives it a sheerness. I have to say, I mean, I haven't had this for a particularly long time. It's not the longest lasting perfume on me personally, but I don't know whether that is going to improve as it ages. But either way, I just think in terms of sweet perfumes, this is probably my most appropriate hot weather sweet perfume that I've ever found. And its sister here, Forget Me Not. This is for floral lovers. If you love a sweet floral, if you like perfumes that make you smell like you've just come out of the shower and you've used a fruity floral shampoo, but like me, you don't want it to be sharp and astringent the way that really genuinely shampooey perfumes are, Forget Me Not is your girl. This is a perfume that is so feminine and pretty, although I do think these are unisex really. This one I think leans feminine. Oh, it absolutely does smell like a shampoo without the kind of harsh, chemically screechy feel that I get in perfumes that really are described as shampooey. This just has the scent profile you'd get in a shampoo rather than the texture of a shampoo. This is bergamot and pink pepper in the top, mid notes of Forget Me Not and hibiscus seed, base notes of cedar and angelica. So, I mean, some people say this smells like violet. I don't get violet from this at all. I'm not really sure how I would describe this because it just smells like a really pretty kind of pinky purpley floral. I mean, it's just really beautiful. I think it's lovely. It's such an easy wear. It lasts for quite a long time, this one. So I just think this is such a good floral for this time of year. There was absolutely no way I was going to be able to talk about hot weather summer perfumes without talking about my Boom perfumes from Jean Arthès. Also extremely affordable, ridiculously priced in fact. So we're going to start with what used to be a signature scent of mine. This is Green Tea and Cherry Blossom from the Boom collection. And this is Boom Savon, both by Jean Arthès, and both fabulous hot weather perfumes. So if we start with Boom Green Tea Cherry Blossom, this is one of my all-time favourite hot weather perfumes. Now obviously I'm making this video now. If I was being entirely true to myself, you would definitely be seeing Still by Jennifer Lopez. You'd also be seeing the original Green Tea by Elizabeth Arden, but I talk about those perfumes all the time. Lots of people talk about those being Freshies. For me, this is up there with those. Boom Green Tea Cherry Blossom is one of my absolute all-time favourite perfumes, in my top 5 for life. And it costs about £6 or £7 for 100ml, which is crazy to me. So the notes here are tea, lemon and pear in the top, cherry blossom, blackcurrant and rose in the mid, and then peach and musk in the base. Now then, I feel like I can smell all of those notes. It's aquatic in a tea-like way. It's fresh, it's fruity, it's so fun, it's just so pretty. And I think this is another one of those perfumes that you kind of smell like you've just washed your hair with, like, I don't know, fructis or something, you know, beautiful. Some really delicious smelling shampoo and conditioner combination. But again, it doesn't have the texture or the screechiness that you get in a shampooy perfume. I love this. I could wear this all the time. I did wear it every day for, you know, maybe 6 months or so. I still love to reach for it now. I have many backups. It's one of my all-time favourites. If you cannot find this, I've seen it on the Tino and a few other places recently, so hopefully you can. But if you can't find this, the closest you're going to find is Elizabeth Arden Green Tea Pomegranate. And that one, it's a bit more fizzy, and that does have more of an actual shampooy texture, but the general profile of the scent is relatively similar to this one. But this one just, I mean, I got rid of my pomegranate the second that this came into my collection, because this, for me, is the perfect interpretation of this kind of scent. So then next to it we have Boom Savon. Boom Savon is one of those perfumes that's designed to smell like bubble bath or something. Now, it doesn't list having aldehydes, but it does have a real bubble bath kind of smell. Again, it's not entirely it's not really screechy to me, so it doesn't feel like too shampooey, but it does have a soapy, like a liquid soap detergenty quality to it that does remind me of a bubble bath. And again, it's just bright, it's clean, it's fresh. It will make you smell like you have just had a classic old school bubble bath, with one of those bubble baths that isn't like highly scented, if you see what I mean, but just somehow just smells like bubbles. So the notes they give you for this are floral notes and almond in the top, mid notes of water lily and lily of the valley, base notes of musk and jasmine. And I'd say it's probably water lily up the top here, but I often don't like water lily, and somehow here it just works. It might be the almond that's balancing everything out, but this is just a fabulous perfume if you want to smell clean, fresh, bubbly, but you don't want to smell like laundry. This is like a different kind of scent to that laundry smell that you often get. So those are my beautiful Jean Arthur's Boom perfumes. I had to put some of my Aqua Colognes from 4711 in because they are made, literally designed for hot weather and to reapply and to just make you feel fresh. So the two that I think are really, really good for very hot weather are lychee and white mint and lemon and ginger. These are for when the weather is crazy. Like, I mean, I reach for mint, and I have mint in a few perfumes now, but I reach for mint when it is crazy hot, because as the same with the eucalyptus, it gives you that fresh feeling because it's got this kind of mentholated smell. Now, yes, this does have a slightly toothpastey smell. I don't care about that. It's very gently fruity, and I feel like the lychee more than anything here is just bringing a sweetness to this. So it's a very gently sweet, sugared, fruity mint perfume. It's really great. It's really unisex. I've often sprayed this on my husband when it's really hot because it's just so cooling and so beautiful. Like, if we had room in our fridge, I would keep my Aqua Colognes in the fridge and I'd be spraying them from there. But because there's mint in this one, it already kind of feels like you're spraying yourself from the fridge. They don't give you any notes other than lychee and white mint, and I think in the case of these two perfumes, the two notes they've listed pretty much cover how these smell. So lemon and ginger smells like lemon, mainly lemon to be fair, and then it just has this very slight sweetness that I assume is coming, I mean, almost, I'm not getting a huge amount of heat that you'd normally get from ginger, but I feel like I would describe this as freshly squeezed lemon juice. It doesn't have that kind of bitter rind and oil scent to this at all. It really smells like actual lemon juice. But then if you imagine it's been sweetened by the syrup from ginger, like, you know, you get ginger in syrup. So if you imagine it's not the actual ginger, it's the sugar syrup that has surrounded and taken on a little bit of that gingeriness, and that's what's sweetening this. And it is just, it's like being punched in the face with lemon. It's bright, it's fruity, it's zingy, it's so effervescent. It is like absolutely, it's acidic, but it's not dry. It's still juicy. It's not acidic in a way where you're kind of like, oh, it's kind of hard to wear, because it has that sweetness running through it. It's a perfect balance in my opinion, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful perfume. So as I said, Aqua Colognes are perfect for this time of year, and I have a whole video on Aqua Colognes which I will link at the end of this. So any of these pretty much are going to work incredibly in hot weather. I wear my collection at this time of year, but these are the two that I chose for this video. So those are my 47 leather Aqua Colognes. This guy, this is the only Roger and Galet that I've kept in my collection because I couldn't really get on with the others, but this one I think is really pretty. This is Fleur d'Osmanthus from Roger and Galet, and this one I kind of get a kind of Lipton Ice peach tea from this. That's kind of how this smells to me. Now, I know Osmanthus is a peachy floral, but they've got a lot of other notes listed here. And I mean, I can't smell a lot of these very clearly. So I'd say it says Osmanthus, grapefruit, neroli, benzoin, apricot, lemon zest, lemon, petitgrain, vetiver, pink pepper and patchouli. And I am mainly getting the apricot, the Osmanthus, the grapefruit and the lemon. Like, this is not... Yeah, I'm not really getting a huge amount else here, and I think that's why I like it, because It just really does come across like a very sheer and not sickly, peachy, floral perfume. And if you told me that there was tea in this, I would totally believe you. It really feels like that kind of perfume. I think it's very pretty. They're really affordable. This one, I think, I just really like a bit of osmanthus, and I think this is a really nice interpretation of osmanthus. So yeah, I think that one is definitely worth a look. That's a really, really nice one. And then last but not least, another tea perfume, because I have to be real, tea perfumes generally at this time of year are perfect. This one, this is La Rive. This is Wave of Love. But this is, of course, a dupe of another perfume. So this is a dupe of Lanvin's Eclat d'Arpège, which is also a beautiful purple liquid. I think they've pretty much got exactly the same notes, and they smell incredibly similar. And because I mean, I'd love to have the original bottle of Eclat d'Arpège because it's so cute, but I feel like that doesn't last a particularly long time. And obviously this one doesn't last a particularly long time, but this one is maybe £10 and under for a 100, I think this is a 100ml bottle, or it might be an 80ml, 90ml randomly, for a 90ml bottle, and you are probably going to pay between 15 and 20 for a 30ml bottle of the Lanvin. So personally, I'm happy to just have this one instead. You can respray it, it's so affordable, but they do smell pretty much exactly the same. Now this is my version of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Now Light Blue I find a bit chemically, I find the woods in it overpowering, a bit tarry, I think it smells masculine. Wave of Love and Eclat d'Arpège are more floral and a little bit more feminine, but they're still very much in that same scent profile. I think they are aquatic in a really nice, beautiful kind of cooling tea way. And they don't have quite the same amount of bitter woods. However, I wouldn't wear this in colder weather because the wood comes through much stronger. But in hot weather, this is absolutely gorgeous. And it has some of my favourite florals in this. So we've got top notes of lilac, lemon and black elder, tea and wisteria, peony, peach and osmanthus in the mid, and then the base notes are musk, amber and cedar. So you definitely do get some of those base notes, but really here I'm getting the tea, the wisteria, the lilac, the lemon. It's so pretty. I absolutely love purple florals. I love lilac and wisteria. This is just such a joy to wear when it's hot. It's very, very pretty, but yeah, it's definitely very similar to Light Blue, but without going too chemically, which I think is wonderful because I love that kind of freshy, but I don't want to smell masculine, and I just don't want to smell kind of chemically at all. I don't want to smell like a cleaning product. This one I think manages to avoid that, but you still get that kind of light blue fresh feel. So anyway, guys, I hope that this was helpful to all of those people out there who really want some good, affordable summer perfumes and don't want to wear gourmands at this time of year, or don't want to spend hundreds of pounds. I didn't mention any perfumes that have watermelon in, and that's because I'm going to make a completely separate video for watermelon perfume, so you will see that soon. But I thought I'd start with this one because frankly it is so hot at the moment that we just all need to be watching perfume videos about Freshies. I hope I managed it, so thank you so much for watching, guys. This is my 2025 high heat summer banger perfumes. Let me know what you're loving this summer. Let me know what affordable gems you've found, and let me know if you've got any of these and how you feel about them. All right, guys, see you soon. Bye.